Hello, my name is Amanda. I am PWN's If, When, How Reproductive Justice HIV Fellow. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm welcoming you to the Year 6 PWN USA Policy Fellowship application webinar. Alongside me and co-presenting with me today, I have Antoinette, our PWN National Field Organizer, and Martha Cameron, our 2021 PWN Policy Fellow graduate. So we're really excited that you're interested in applying to become a PWN Policy Fellow. During today's webinar, we will be providing an introduction to the PWN Policy Fellowship, what the program structure is, the fellowship timeline, what you get out of the program and what we offer to policy fellows, as well as how to apply and what the application process will look like. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Antoinette, our PWN National Field Organizer and also a PWN Policy Fellow graduate. She's going to go ahead and go over the Policy Fellowship.
Hi everyone, my name is Antoinette and I use her pronouns. I'm the National Field Organizer with PWN. Just give me 1 second while I slide again. So I just wanted to briefly share a little bit about the Policy Fellowship and that myself and Martha have both participated in and completed. So we at PWN feel like it's critical to push back and be vocal and heard in the crafting policy that will impact women, trans, and gender nonconforming people, lives, and this is true in all aspects of policy and decision making. An urgent part of our response is to build the policy bench and make sure that folks who are most impacted by policies are the ones who are making and influencing those policies. So we hope that in the Policy Fellowship that we'll be able to teach you to hold policymakers accountable and ensure that they are addressing the issues in a way that is grounded in human rights, racial justice, and gender justice, as well as reproductive justice. And it's a priority for us and the women of transgender and gender nonconforming living with HIV. Many involved and a part of the solution. Amanda, you can go to the next slide. Share a little bit about the program overview in hopes that we can interest you in being a part of the fellowship. So the program overview, this is our 6th policy fellowship for all women, transgender, and gender nonconforming folks and people living with HIV. Increase participation's ability to engage effectively in federal, state, and local policy and advocacy. Why do we do this? We do it because Black, Indigenous, and people of color living with HIV and women of transgender and gender nonconforming people living with HIV have often not been included in a meaningful way at the tables where policy decisions are being made. Our members are brilliant and have lived expertise that should guide policy and advocacy strategies. And policies will have better outcomes for our communities when those who are most directly impacted by those decisions are in the seats and making those decisions. So one of the quotes that you may see up top is a quote from June Jordan. And this really speaks to the political moment we are in. The quote says, "We are the federal policy environment has been historically inaccessible to women and transgender nonconforming folks living with HIV. And this current environment, access is becoming more and more difficult. And the attacks on fundamental human rights are being severely taken away. So we've seen that happen with the fall of Roe v. Wade. We've seen IA bills have been introduced in the US and Mississippi alone. We have seen nearly 31 anti-LGBTQIA bills introduced, period. No Black women sits in the U.S. Senate, and the country has never had a Black woman governor, and only two Black women have served in the Senate in its 233-year history. So we believe that all women and transgender, non-conforming people living with HIV should have a range of tools that is necessary to live a healthy, safe life with dignity. Policies and advocacy is just another tool in the toolbox that can help us get there. Next slide, please. So who should apply? Everyone should apply. But all women and transgender non-conforming folks living with HIV in the U.S., we strongly encourage you to apply. Applicants from those who are young, Black, Latinx, immigrant, LGBTQ, transgender, gender non-conforming, low income or working class defined people of all identities. We encourage you to apply. You must have a strong desire to affect meaningful change in the lives of other women and transgender non-conforming people. And you must have the ability to access a laptop, Wi-Fi, and can operate Zoom, email, Google Docs, and slides in all forms. So, like I said, we welcome all folks, all people of transgender and gender non-conforming women living with HIV. We are also strongly encourage women who historically haven't had a seat at the policy table. So if you're young, Black or Latinx, immigrant, LGBTQ, we really strongly encourage you to apply. We also don't want folks to be fearful of policy because we are going to break all things down and make sure folks are able to understand policy on all levels. Next slide. So what do fellows get? So there's a few things that you get by becoming a policy fellow. So you get coaching and mentoring to support your policy goals. You get opportunities to attend policy meetings. Of course, we will all be joining virtually, so that's accessible no matter where you are in this world. You get opportunities to engage with state and national advocacy coalitions, access to policy experts, opportunities to obtain and apply marketable writing, research, and organizing skills to support your professional development. And the fellows will also receive $250 a month during the program, as long as they are meeting all program requirements. So fellows will have the opportunity to be coached and mentored to support your policy goals, your opportunities to attend policy meetings virtually, opportunities to engage in national coalitions. We will be helping you build partnerships and relationships with coalitions in your local towns. You will have the opportunity to learn and apply important policy skills like writing and research and organizing to your everyday work, to things that you are passionate about. And some of these skills, like I said, around policy are oftentimes indesirable to folks. So we want you all to find creative and unique ways to influence policy. And there are also marketable professional development skills that we can also tailor to. And fellows like myself who graduate successfully will receive a certificate of completion at the end of the program.
Awesome. Thanks, Antoinette. Awesome. And Martha, I wanted to also ask you too, is there anything you want to add to this slide? Are we missing anything? Is there anything around like what fellows get that you really want to emphasize, or that what was really meaningful for you?
Sure. I think one of the things maybe that you haven't mentioned is just how we build relationships and networks among the fellows as well. I think that was really great. Also, you can get, sort of information about other resources or people that you can work with. But my mentor, Deidre Speaks, from my cohort, her and I have a really great relationship, and I've been able to do a lot with her since. So I think you also get to develop some really good relationships.
Amazing. Thank you.
That's so awesome. Yes, thank you, Martha, for sharing that. Relationships are definitely something that I would say that I greatly benefited from by being a part of the fellowship as well. So content covered. So over the course of the fellowship, participants will expand understanding of the structures of government and how federal and state policy is developed and implemented. You will learn frameworks grounded in PWN's values, racial, gender, and economic justice, liberation for our communities to guide your advocacy. You will learn to analyze policy with the and racial gender justice lens. You will deepen your understanding of strategies and tactics to effort in policy change, and you will learn to build and maintain relationships with policymakers and stakeholders who have influence over policy making process. So this is just a little bit of what you will gain from being a part of the Policy Fellowship, but there's so much more in addition to this. Next slide. And the program structure, so it's a time commitment from May 2023 to June 2024. It's worth it because you're getting paid for it. But it's 16 interactive web-based training sessions held 1 to 2 times per month. A practical assignment will be assigned in between sessions, and coaching from seasoned advocates who are past PWN Policy Fellows. So you may see a great, awesome, and great presentation from Martha and the work that ICWNA does. And it's a year-long program, like I said. So this is a commitment. The content will begin in June and it will stretch through 2024. So I would say to be prepared for the webinars. It's only once or twice a month. Maybe put it on your calendar so it's reoccurring. And then at that point, fellows will begin to work on and towards their practicum in January of 2024 and present their final practicum in June. Is there anything else that you may have wanted to add here?
I know it sounds like a lot, but the sessions were pre-scheduled, right? So you knew what day and time they were going to be held. And so you could always hold that time. And because it was virtual for me too, it didn't matter where I was literally in the world. I could figure out how to attend my sessions and do my assignments in between. So it is a doable program, even though it might look like an extended time.
Mm-hmm. And when I did mine, I know Kelly was my policy fellow, and she showed the whole schedule in the beginning. So we were able to write down all the important dates that we needed to remember, and just be prepared for them. So I'm passing it back to Amanda, to take us to the next slide.
Wonderful. Thank you, Antoinette and Martha. So I'm going to quickly go over the tentative schedule that we have planned for the fellowship this year. This year, the fellowship will be in partnership with the H&P Advocates Program, the Health Not Prisons Advocates Project Program. So trainings will coincide with those advocates, which is great because you'll have a set other cohort to be training alongside you. So you'll have not only the 8 PWN policy fellows, but another 8 Health Not Prisons advocates that you'll be training with, which is really exciting. For the web session 1, that will be our orientation. And then after that, the content will begin in June. So each month, as you can see, there will be 1 to 2 trainings per month. In June, we'll have 2 potentially, as well as August, we will also potentially have 2 trainings. And then the rest will have monthly trainings. But this is just a preview of the content that we will be covering during this year-long fellowship program. And so this is the first 8 web sessions here on the screen. And then here are the next 8 web sessions that we have planned as well. To really, and as you can see, we also built in a mid-year review and celebration in December, knowing that, you know, December is a very busy time for folks. And so building in that rest time and celebration time is really important. And then towards the end, you'll see in June, we'll have an end of year presentation and celebration as well. And so yeah, this is our tentative schedule that's also available in the description, so you can have an idea as to what the training and content will look like. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And as Antoinette had mentioned, hopefully we can get those dates ahead of time for you all, so you can put those in your calendars. And again, these trainings will be virtual, so you can attend from anywhere in the world. So with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Martha, our past 2021 PWN USA Policy Fellow. Martha is really just a star PWN Policy Fellow graduate. And just, you know, we're so grateful to have her on today to share more about her experience.
Thanks, Amanda. So yes, I was the most recent cohort and graduate, and I remember hearing about the Policy Fellowship. You know, you get emails from PWN, and I had a few friends that had participated, and I wasn't sure if I would qualify. Right, I had done other PWN activities, including the summits. I had done other training, and I was already basically running an organization. But when I had seen some of the stuff that they were learning, I had kind of wanted to solidify some of the information that I already had. And I'm so glad I applied, and I'm so glad that I was accepted, because I got to learn so many things that I didn't know, but I also got to solidify some information that I may have known, like anecdotally or by being in certain meetings. It was really great to see it in a training, especially when it came to like talking about local and federal government, how a bill is formed, your legislative stuff like that was really important for me. I'd been to AIDS Watch, for example, but I hadn't really heard this information in a sort of a training session, and that was really cool for me. But I would say one of the most profound experiences that I had going through this fellowship is that it was happening at a time when we were doing this advocacy for breast and chest feeding in the US, which wasn't allowed for women living with HIV. And we had started doing some advocacy in 2020. We had written an expert consensus statement. But then when I went through the fellowship, there were 2 topics that really helped me sort of formulate our narrative around the breast and chest feeding. And these were the repro and racial justice sessions, or reproductive and racial justice session, where I really got to see that, wow, this issue that we were trying to advocate for was actually also a racial issue, and it was also a reproductive justice issue for women living with HIV, and especially Black women living with HIV. I had not seen it like that, and I started pushing that information in the advocacy that we were doing. And then the other thing that was also really important was this sort of gender and economic justice, as well as information about criminalization, because whenever we used to talk about breast and chest feeding in the US, sometimes the women would be threatened with child protective services. And I never really saw this as criminalization. So my mentor, Deidre, who had done a lot of work on criminalization, said, absolutely. And then the next thing that happened, which was again during this policy fellowship, was a session on how to build coalitions. And that gave me the idea that, we're working, I was at that time only working with one organization, the Well Project, but I thought, we actually should do a coalition around this. And so we reached out to other organizations who already knew about the issue or advocating, but I was like, it's better if we actually form a group together. And I invited, Deidre helped me invite Kamaria, Nana from PWN. We got these leaders to come on some of the calls with us and formed a really strong coalition. And I would have never known to do this had I not been going through the fellowship. Now, I know you can form coalitions around many different issues, but let me tell you, it was so helpful for me to be learning this as I was actually working on an advocacy issue. And that was what I actually submitted at the end of my fellowship, was a fact sheet around breast and chest feeding from all the information that we had been gathering. So it was really impactful for me. It really helped me shape what I was doing for that advocacy, but it also helped me form a template for different other advocacy campaigns that we can do as an organization. I'm really encouraged. If you had any doubt about applying, I am really encouraging you to do so, because it will really help shape your thoughts, your narrative, and just how to present your issues that you might need advocacy for, and even how to take them to some of your legislators. This is your opportunity. So make sure you apply and take a chance on this. It is really, really helpful for you. Thanks, Amanda.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Martha. It's like always so wonderful to hear you speak about your experience in the Policy Fellowship. And again, like so grateful to have you on today and have you share your experience with the fellowship. Great. So I'll go with that. I think I'll go into how to actually apply. So this year, the application is online. And this is also because a lot of the fellowship is online. And so we want to make sure that you have access to Wi-Fi and a computer and kind of like the technology. So that is kind of one of the reasons why the application is online. It requires 3 components: an applicant information. So this is just demographical information, contact information, your civic and community engagement experience. So this is asking what you're involved in your community and what policy work you have done. But again, no policy experience is required to become a policy fellow. We really encourage you, if you're interested in becoming more involved in policy, this is really a fellowship for any person living with HIV, who's interested in becoming more involved in policy advocacy. So we can give you kind of those tools and training and support to build those skills. But if you do have, community engagement and civic engagement work, we want to hear about that. Lastly, we have a personal statement. And so this really gives you an opportunity to share something about who you are and why you're interested in applying. And it also shows off your writing skills a bit. And so I think this is one of the more important parts of the application, because we just want to get to know who you are as a person and why you want to become a part of this fellowship. Some additional documents that you could submit are a video statement. We know that not everyone communicates in the same way. And so if you feel that your oral statement and speaking about yourself and why you want to become a part of the fellowship is something that you would rather do, or you can to do in addition to your online application, you're welcome to submit a video statement talking about why you want to become who you are and why you want to become a part of the fellowship. We also want to encourage folks to submit a resume. And so if you have a resume or are interested in creating one for yourself to send to us, we welcome submitting a resume. And so how you get to the application, there's a QR code here on the screen for you to follow. If you have access to a cell phone, you can easily pull that up. There's also this link here, the bit.ly/PWN Policy Fellowship. So you can enter this link directly into your web browser, and that will take you to the application. Or you can go to pwn/usa.org and you'll click the training tab. And then there will be an option for you to click learn more about the PWN USA Policy Fellowship. And so that will also take you to the application. And again, so for the video and resume instructions, this is a 3-minute or less video responding to the questions found in the online application. You can share your video with us by uploading the information, and the instructions are on the online application. And then again, for resumes, we really strongly encourage you to submit a copy of your current resume. Submit it. You can submit it to as an email attachment in a Word document or a PDF document to that email listed on the slide, which is my email. And you would want to include in the subject line your first and last name and the date you submitted the rest of your application. And lastly, some application tips. So you should go to pwnusa.org for application instructions and the program information. Be sure to read through the program description, review the timeline, the trainings, see if this is something that you would like to apply for, download, and you can also download and print the application to have them available as you're filling out the online application. And you can also type out the answers in a Word document and then copy and paste those into the online form as you're filling out the application. We really encourage folks to take the time to answer the 4-part personal statement. Those are really important for us in getting to know who you are. The more information that you can include, the better. And it also demonstrates your writing skills and conveys your interest in participating. And also make sure that you have secure internet connection while you're pasting the personal statement responses into the application. It would be really unfortunate if the internet cut out and then you lost the paste in your online application. So try to do that in one sitting with secure internet connection, just so that everything gets submitted. And feel free to email us if you want to confirm that we received your application. And lastly, on the bottom of the slide here, participation in all aspects of the program is required for successful completion. We do expect that and hope that our fellows who join the program complete the trainings. As you've seen, the trainings are really impactful, meaningful, and really like a core component of the fellowship. And so participation in the trainings, a practicum, the assignments, those are all expectations for completion of the program. And as gratitude, again, we provide a $250 a month stipend for your time. So just want to emphasize that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for, and one last thing for key dates and deadlines. So the deadline for the application is April 9th, 2023. Fellowship interviews for selection will happen in late April, early May. We'll hopefully notify applicants of their acceptance by mid-May, and then we'll have the initial orientation on May 24th, and then trainings beginning in June. Okay, great. Well, with that, if anyone has any questions, feel free to email them to me at legalfellow@pwn-usa.org. And you can also find the application at bit.ly/PWN Policy Fellowship, and that is case sensitive. So make sure that you have capital PWN and then Policy Fellowship. And with that, I'd love to pass it to Martha or Antoinette for any closing remarks. And other than that, that's it for me today.
Yeah, best wishes, everybody.
Yes,
Amazing.
best wishes and best of luck. I really hope folks apply because you have some great mentors around you who's really going to give you the skills that you need.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, apply. Even if you don't know if you're eligible, or that if you have any questions on the program, like, feel free to reach out. But yeah, definitely want you to apply. And we'd love to meet you. So sounds great. Thank you all. Amazing. Thank you so much. I stopped recording, so I think.
Oh, I thought you were still recording. It's a
no.
recording.
I stopped
Okay.
recording. Hopefully it goes. Yeah, it's gonna go
I'm
up to the
so
cloud.
sorry, I sneezed like right in the middle of something you were saying. I was like, oh no. I hope you can cut it out if possible.
Oh no, it's okay. I think
okay?
yeah, don't worry. Are you feeling okay, Martha?
No, I have such terrible. Well, it's turned into a sinus infection now. It was bad allergies. Come and say hi. Come and show them your balloons. Oh, it was my son saying, hold on. It was his birthday.
Nice.
Say hi.
Hey. The balloons. That's amazing.
But anyway, so I need to get better before AIDS watch.
Oh
I've
yeah.
got nasal spray and I'm taking antibiotics, which I don't like. So
Dang.
I'll
Well, I
be
hope you get better soon.
Yeah. It's just the season. This time, it happened right. We had some weird warm weather at some point, like right in the middle of winter. And then it got cold again. And now, it's warming up and windy and all of that. So it's just the season. I'll be fine. And then in
Yeah.
August, it will happen again.
Oh no.
Allergies.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good. Well, thank you. And Martha, I'll get the stipend request over to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no
Really
problem. No,
appreciate
this
it.
is absolutely no problem.
Yay,
On
thank
Friday,
you
I was.
both. I have to hop off for another call.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Antoinette.
Antoinette. Thank you. And thank you for being
Bye.
there Friday too. Amanda,
Of course.
on Friday, I was like, I realized we didn't do any action items for the meeting when you all were away. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope Amanda doesn't say anything. She's gonna say, like, I left you with one job and you.
No, you're good. The action items, I know. Always with the calls, I'm like, there's just so many.
Shoot. And then, but we started the meeting and I'm like, if nobody asks, I'm not gonna say anything.
I love it. You're
All
good.
right. Well, you have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Martha, and get better soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.